Today is a pretty exciting day. Why? Because of this. This is the first thing that I've been sent for the purposes of a review. A proper company has sent me a proper product to review. This is TKUK Stormtrooper Armour. This is an armour kit, so I'm going to build the kit and I'm going to review it, and I'm going to be completely honest about this. And people may be going, but you have like 3 sets of Stormtrooper Armour already. Why do you want another one? I'm not going to be keeping this. There's going to be something very exciting happening with this armour, so you want to stay tuned to the channel for a little while, and I'll tell you what's going on with this, because we're still setting things in stone at the moment. So it was always a fun day when, you know, the postman turns up and a box with the Imperial logo stamped on it comes through your door. As I was saying, this is the TKUK armour kits. See, as the name would suggest, they're based in the UK, but they do ship worldwide. A little bit of information on here from the guy that sent it to me. So this is a standard kit, and the standard kit is $600, so it'll be a little bit less in pounds. Occasionally this site will also do a buy one get one free offer, which is pretty cool, so keep an eye out for that, but that's more of an occasional thing. And I think this, the mould that this set of armours come from is the new moulds that he's released at Christmas. And he said, you know, he's still not entirely happy with it, so he's constantly working on the moulds and will be releasing new things, like he's changed the legs that he's done previously, and he's currently working on the butt mould, of all things to work on, but so he's constantly refining it, which is really nice to see someone, you know, constantly change up their stuff if they're not happy with it, rather than, you know, just shoving it out there. This armour is actually ABS plastic, and I just had a little measure of it, and it's a 1mm ABS, but that's probably going to vary over certain parts with like the curved parts of the mould, so it'll be 1 to 2mm ABS plastic. Even got their little logo printed on the inside of the box, which is quite cool. And it says for instructions, go to tkarmouruk.com. So it does come with a full set of instructions, which I will be looking at just in case it's slightly different to the kit that I did last time, because obviously this isn't for me, so I want to do as good a job as I can. So with this being an armour kit, that means it doesn't come with any of the soft parts. This is literally just the plastic parts of the armour. I'm going to dig it all out and show you guys what you can get in this. So each piece is wrapped individually, which is nice. But here we've got the front of the face plate, which looks actually quite nice. It looks kind of similar. No, it's not Rogue One-y. It's still more New Hope. Now I've got the top of the head, because this helmet kit comes as a 3-piece one rather than a 2-piece. I know a lot of people do prefer the 2-piece one, but 3-piece ones aren't too bad. The last helmet kit I did was a 3-piece helmet, which is the Zombie Trooper. And as long as it's nice and neat, then it's not too obvious. And then there's the back of the helmet as well. Got the little earpieces that go on the side, and actually the little detail piece that's on there, which was separate in my FX armour kit, has been moulded into this one, so that's good, because I don't have to worry about trying to glue that on and hoping that that doesn't fall off. Comes with the decals for the helmet, and one leg unwrapped so you can see sort of the shine and the colour of the actual armour. Hand plates in the knee, pieces for the O2 canister. We've got a lot of spare plastic in here, which is pretty nice. So we'll be using that for the studs that I'm going to use to connect to the inside of the armour, the same way that I did for the FX armour kit, because with it being a kit we're going to have to make all the strapping and make all the connectors. Underside helmet trim, and the top helmet trim as well. We've got a canvas belt to use to put the belt together, as opposed to the plastic one, which was on my FX kit. We've got a bunch of spare elastic, which also has Velcro already stitched on the end of it, which is going to be super useful, which means I'm not going to have to spend a huge amount of time making straps for that, so that is greatly appreciated. Got the back plate and the chest plate. They look pretty nice. I like the shape on those. These are the aerators that go into the front of the helmet, so that comes with literally everything, which is always good. And the difference between this and the other summit plates that I've done is all the detail is moulded in. It's not either stuck on or something you have to drill and add bits into. That also means if you're looking to get a Stormtrooper kit, then you can't get the standard Stormtrooper kit because you won't be able to modify that. Got the drop boxes as well, which is nice because they've got a front and a back, which you can take apart. So most drop boxes you get would just be like this, so they're kind of hollow, but this one is actually got a really nice back to it. And we've got 2 bits of acrylic which are going to be used for the lenses in the Stormtrooper helmet. Now I haven't actually looked at these, so I'm going to see which colour. Nope, these lenses are a nice dark green. This armour kit, as you can see, has already been pre-trimmed. It will need a little bit of sanding around some of the edges just to make it that bit more comfortable to wear and line up the edges when it's all glued. But some armour kits that you get can be just raw off the vacuum forming machine, so you would have all the plastic still here and you'd have to cut it all out. So those armour kits are the cheaper ones because obviously you have to do a bit more work to it. But this is nice, there's a lot of clean edges on here. Shouldn't be a lot of work. I'm not going to have to modify this to fit me. It's just going to be put together just standard, so I'm very much looking forward to this. There is one thing I do want to point out at the beginning though. This leg piece here, something's gone a little bit wrong on the bottom. We've got a bit that hasn't gone to the shape of the mould very well and got some indents. I think it's meant to be sort of cut down here because it's not supposed to have that bit there. But when we glue it together we'll figure it out because I can always cut it down and sand it and make it look a lot nicer. There are a few little sort of surface details like that. But I know vacuum forming is not exactly an easy process to get right. You can go through a lot of plastic with this, but apart from those couple of little blemishes, it all seems pretty nice. So obviously how easy it is to put together will be something we'll have to judge later, but I've had a look on the site and this armour set is actually approved for the 501st, so if anybody wants a 501st approved costume you can get this one, and there are some guidelines on the site that just tell you, you know, how to modify it to get it 501st approved. So today we're going to start with the basics. I've got some E6000 glue, which is a different glue that I've used before. I'm going to give it a little bit of a test first to make sure it sticks to the plastic really well. And we've also got these, which are rare earth magnets. So these are really strong magnets that I'm actually going to use to help stick together the armour a little bit down the edge. So actually the middle bit of like the legs, things that are longer that clamps can't reach, is going to help stick together. So it's a little thing that, a little trick I picked up from a little armour building group I'm part of on Facebook. So hopefully this will work. I might as well start on the most fiddliest bit of actually making Stormtrooper armour and make all my little popper connectors, because I've got heavy duty ones here this time rather than the smaller ones I got last time. And use the plastic and actually make my little connectors. They're going to get glued to the inside of all the armour pieces, so I need to write down a list of how many I'm going to need and then make them. I've let both of these dry overnight and both of them are actually really quite strong. So I was just trying to decide which one to actually use, and I think I'm probably going to go for the E600 because I think it's a little bit stronger than this. E6000 rather, because I keep missing out 0 on the end. But so we're going to put this together. Hopefully it'll work nicely. So I'm going to start off the same way I started the kit off last time. Got the leg pieces here. Now I was just looking at this bottom leg piece here. Once it's glued, I'm going to need to trim around there, so it's not going to match this one, unfortunately. So that's not great. This is obviously an error that's come off the machine, but never mind. That's something that can quite easily be fixed. And most likely that's probably going to have to be trimmed as well. It depends on the size of the boots that people are wearing when it comes to this costume. So these are one half, this is the other half, so we're going to put those two together using the magnets and the glue, and I've just got a little bit of wet and dry paper, so I'm just going to go down the edges and wet and dry it a little bit so it's a bit rougher, so it sticks a lot better. And I did all the connectors yesterday, so they're all rounded around the edges as well, so when they're glued down they're not going to poke into you, which is nice. So at least the fiddly bit's done, so when I'm gluing it I can just stick those on. That'll be nice and easy. So whilst waiting for some of the pieces to dry, so then I can go with the other ones when I've got the clamps and the magnets finished with, just looking at what the straps that came with it were. Now it looks like if you were to build this using the straps in the kit, a lot of the connectors would be Velcro, because it's got all the Velcro on here. So I've had to double check on the website to make sure I'm not missing any of like the strapping tutorials on there, and I'm not. As far as I can see, there isn't one on there. But what it looks like is these two are going to be the main straps to hold on the stomach. These ones are going to be the straps that hold on like the leg pieces, and then you've got these ones which will be holding on things like the shoulder bells and the biceps, and I'm not sure what the other shoulder pieces are for. And these ones are going to be for the hand pieces, which for me would be that little bit too big because I've got little hands. But so there's the Velcro on the back, and it would sort of attach there, so you just sort of slip it over on your hand. A lot of troopers do it that way. But so that is going to be, if you were to get the kit, how you would strap it. I'm not going to do that because I know Velcro isn't always that great, especially if you end up moving a little bit awkwardly and the Velcro just rips off, and then it's just going to be awkward. And also when you're walking, if you don't get the Velcro in quite the right place, all you're going to hear is just constant sounds of like Velcro ripping, so you just get that all the time. So I'm going to do what I did with my last kit build, which is why I've made the poppers. So everything's a little bit sturdy, but I will still keep these and use these two hand straps as well. I might as well put the thermal detonator together as well whilst I'm waiting for those bits. So the thermal detonator comes in these 4 parts. So this is the base, this is just a bit of PVC pipe, not cut hugely straight, but that's easily fixable with a little bit of sandpaper. Considering I cannot cut pipe straight, I can't really talk. This bit needs to be fixed up with a bit of sandpaper as well around the edges, because the lines are a little bit wonky, but again, really easy fix. And then you've got these little caps that go on the ends. Now, I'm not sure whether I will glue these caps on or just slot them on, because you could always be very sneaky and use this as an extra storage container. So if I like maybe glue one side and have one bit that you can just snap on and off, I think that might be pretty cool. So you can like sneak some money in here if you go into a convention or something like that, as long as you don't lose it. all of the pieces that are in two halves that need to be glued together are now glued together, but before I start adding the Velcro on there, I need to start gluing some of the little rivets onto there. The only problem with doing a build like this using certain glue is you've got to wait a very long time for the glue to dry, because else you don't want to be fiddling with stuff while it's still wet, because it's going to come off and you add more glue and then it's just a whole mess. So we're going to glue some of these rivets on certain points, like down in the crotch on the side here, so then we can start adding the straps. And as well, I'm probably going to glue the back of the helmet together, because actually on the TKUK website, whereas I have not been able to find a tutorial just for the basic armour, there is one for the helmet, and whereas I thought this might go over the top, actually this little ridge here sticks behind this part. So obviously we want to glue that together before we can start working on the rest of the helmet. There's a lot of waiting for glue to dry, but then whilst that's been done, I can work on the legs. So I can put all the Velcro on like the legs and the forearms, and then I can make sure everything lines up nicely before I start drawing on lines to slowly cut away and just even everything out. And then we're going to use some of this plastic strips to go over the tops of the legs, so to go over like these parts here, so it just gives it a nice definite shape. So I've Velcroed the back of the legs. I'm not too happy about the rather large gap between the Velcro. I have tried to glue the legs together, but the force of the actual plastic trying to pull itself apart means that was not possible. I tried to clamp it and it kept hanging apart, and I didn't want to get glue all over the rest of the suit. So unfortunately there's just going to be that small gap in the back. The rest of the armour for the arm pieces and the lower legs have been Velcroed together quite nicely, and I'm just going to add the Velcro to some of the other parts, like on the inside of the stomach and connecting the back plate to the butt plate, things like that, because some of those little bits should have dried by now. So now it is time to cut away at the bits of the legs that we don't need. The legs and the arms have now been trimmed, and I've sanded it down by hand to make everything nice and smooth again. And on the legs I'm just adding the strip of plastic for the extra detail on the front. And once it's dry I'm then gonna cut it to shape and sand it down again. Now I'm just gonna strap together the torso and then do a few little odds and ends, like put the belt together and add the drop boxes, and then when the legs are dry and I can trim them, I can add the knee plates And I just need to strap the shoulder bells to the biceps, and then all that's left to do is the helmet assembly. Now we come to the final and the most fun bit of putting together a set of armor. This is the helmet assembly. Now this is something that is on the TK Armour website, a full PDF of assembly, so I'm actually going to follow this step by step, and hopefully we will make a really nice looking helmet. So aside from a few paint touch-ups on the black, because I'm waiting for some more black paint to arrive, because this stuff went a little bit tacky, which is really annoying, the helmet is done. I must say this helmet was a bit awkward to put together, so it is not perfect, I'm afraid. It was really quite a struggle to get all the pieces to try and fit in a way that, well, made it look like that's how they were supposed to go. This is only the second helmet kit that I've done, but I must say the FX kit was easy. I don't know if that was just the shape of it or if the plastic was a little bit more flexible, but this one was a bit of a struggle to put together. But now it's together, it doesn't look too bad, and I've put a little bit of padding on the inside of the helmet as well. So minus the few little paint details, the kit build is complete. So this is the rest of the armor all laid out here. So comparing this kit to the FX kit that I built for my zombie trooper up there. The pieces are better quality than the FX kit, but I found that they were a little bit harder to put together. There are also some imperfections that we pointed out throughout the build, like some bits on the leg here, and there has been a few cracks that I've noticed on certain parts of the body. Now those I will glue up when everything is ready to go. So those are the aesthetic downsides. In terms of ease of putting it together, some parts a heck of a lot easier to put together than the FX kit. The arms were easy to put together because they were made a lot nicer than the FX kit were, and the actual body was fairly easy to put together. The legs and the helmet are a little bit more of a struggle. Now the legs, I think it would benefit if there is definitely in the left and the right for either sides of these, that they should be marked out, because I was like trying to put different sides together and see which ones fit best, but sometimes you do still end up with a fairly large seam on the front, which I've tried to glue down as best as I possibly can, but obviously having these detail pieces on there hides that, so it's not something that's really noticeable. But also does mean gluing the back together is really difficult, and velcroing it again gives you this little pop out seam here. So if there is a definite case of left and right, one that I just haven't been able to figure out to put together because it was quite awkward trying to sort out which ones would go with which, then definitely have them marked out with maybe just a little L or an R on the inside of the leg, or do what Shepperton do, which is they have parts of it marked out with stickers. So they have a little red sticker for right and a little green sticker for left. I would also say, as a matter of personal opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the belly studs being moulded into the armour. Because the belly studs you have to paint, and I've been as careful as I can and try to do it so it doesn't look like it's painted on, but to my eye I can tell that it's just painted on the bits in the plastic. So personally I think actual inserted belly studs will look better, but that is just my opinion of what I like on the armour. And as well, as I've said before, you got to keep in mind if you are getting this kit, you can't use it for a sound trooper because this is vacuum formed into the detail, so this is just the Stormtrooper belly plate, not the sound trooper. And as I've said, the hardest thing to put together for me was actually the helmet. I found this a lot harder to put together than the FX helmet, even following the guide that was online, but hopefully I've done it to a fairly decent standard. As I said, the paint on the front there has got to be touched up a little bit, and I might add some gauze to the inside of the mouth as well. I'll put a little bit of foam on the inside there, but you can see on this side here I was really struggling to get everything to line up. So the brow was actually in a straight line across the top of the forehead. That was actually quite awkward to do. Again, that just might be a case of my inexperience with building these things. I also always say I am not the foremost expert of Stormtrooper armour, but I use what experience I have over the years of modifying and doing a kit just to try and be as honest as I can with stuff like this. And as the person who has sent this to me did say, please, constructive criticism is more than welcome. So there is one thing in the helmet I would also like to add a little bit of constructive criticism on, which is these mic tips. Now these mic tips are beautiful little mic tips, but the problem is they're a flat bottom going into a concave surface, and getting these to stick was a bit of a trial. Now I think probably the best way to fix this, rather than having to try and mold the bottom of a mic tip to perfectly fit the concave bit in the front of the helmet, is do what some other helmets do, which is the mic tip has a flat bottom and actually has a hole, so you can actually screw it in from the inside to the front, so it holds it on really nice and tight. You don't have to worry about it popping off. I know a few friends of mine have had their mic tips pop off of other different types of suits they've got. One of my friends also has a Shepperton Designs studio suit, and he went to a Comic-Con and his mic tip disappeared, so he was left with one. So that I would probably say is a good one to do, because they are glued on as well as I can do them, but I'm too scared to wiggle them too much. I mean, it's fairly solid, but if that gets caught at the wrong angle, you will most likely lose that mic tip, which obviously you don't want to do, because getting replacements for Stormtrooper armour is hard and expensive. So if you were able to screw in through the front of these little parts here, it would be a lot better for support. So I can't really give you an idea of what it all looks on because I've done this to a standard size not to fit me. So if I put it on, it's going to look awful because it's going to be wonky and oversized in some places, and it won't be a decent representation of what the armor's going to look like if you do it to fit you. I would say for the price point, this armor is pretty good if you've got that amount of disposable income. It's $600, so you're looking at just over £500. I'd say maybe go for it if you do have a little bit more experience with kit building, because obviously I struggled in some pieces and there were some blemishes on the armour, so it's going to be a case of, if you do buy it, obviously double check everything and contact the seller if there's something you're really not happy with and something you can't fix. I've just done this from the point of view of, this is me getting the package and this is me building it, so what it comes as, that's how I review it as. So thank you very much for TKUK for actually sending me this and letting me be honest. And they said, you know, constructive criticism, so I'm going to try and be as constructive as possible. I've been talking to the guy that runs TKUK, and as he's been saying, he's always looking for ways to improve his armour set, so hopefully this will help give a little bit of feedback. And if anybody has experience with TKUK, then they might want to put it in the comments just to help him out, because I always appreciate a seller that's willing to take feedback and saying, this is what I'm working on as well, I'm working on fixing this, this and this. And the fact that I do like about this kit is it does come with pretty much everything you need. I only had to go and buy a couple of spare bits of elastic, and I bought the push fasteners as well, purely because that strapping system I know works really well compared with Velcro, which is what you would have used because it didn't come with poppers, it just came with the straps with the Velcro on there. Again, you can do that if you buy this kit, and then that will bring the price down for you a little bit less. But personally, I think the push fasteners work a lot better, they're a lot more secure, so that's what I have done on this one. It comes with all the plastic you need for the detailing and a bunch of spares, so if you want to do some test pieces you can go ahead on that. As well as the plastic is actually really easy just to cut with scissors, so if you don't have a huge amount of tools at your disposal at the moment, obviously I would suggest if you are building a kit, get yourself a Dremel, those things are amazing. But you can probably work it by hand with a pair of scissors and some sandpaper if you're really, really patient. And the helmet kit comes with everything that you need for the helmet, with the lenses, the brow trim, the stickers, and it even comes with the screws, the 3 screws that goes on the ears that are the correct screws to get it screen accurate, which is awesome. And as I said before, if you take your time going through the 501st clearances and looking at what you need, this kit will be something that you can get up to 501st standard if you put a lot of work into it. So overall, I do recommend this one. It looks really nice actually. It's nice and crisp, and it's actually something that I would say is a little bit of a hybrid of New Hope and Rogue One, because some of the lines on it are really clean, so I do like that look. But again, I think it's a kit that if you've got a little bit more experience is the one for you. If you've got a little bit less experience, maybe move on to something that's a little bit cheaper. But thank you so much for TKUK to sending me this set of armour and allowing me to do this review and saying, you know, just be honest. And any constructive criticism is amazing, so thank you so much for sending me the first ever Star Wars thing I've had to review, and a big thing considering I've had to put together a set of Stormtrooper armour. And the reason that I have done it to a standard size and not to fit me is because I am not going to be wearing this, as I said before. This armour kit I am not keeping. This armour kit is actually going to be raffled off for charity. So TKUK said, you know what, we'll send it to you. You can keep it if you want, or if you want to give it away, it's up to you. And being the owner of already 3 sets of Stormtrooper armour, there is no point in me having another one. So if you like what you see and you wish to get a set of Stormtrooper armour, do keep an eye on this channel, because I will be updating this channel with the details of the raffle really soon when we get it sorted. And all the money will go to the University College Hospital. It's the same hospital we went to for our May the 4th troop, so we'll be going back there again. And fingers crossed, we're going to have a couple of celebrity faces help us out there. Again, all details will be up in a video later. Once again, thank you TKUK, and thank you guys for watching the first ever Ace does a review of something she's been sent, which is awesome. And as I said, I will be back with the details of the raffle for you guys to win the Stormtrooper armour. Now, before people do get excited, the armour will just be what you see, which is the plastic stuff, because obviously, as I said, we don't know what size people are going to be. They're going to win this. So we can't kind of provide the soft parts like the suit, the neck ring, the gloves and the boots. because we don't know what size that person's going to be. So it's just going to be the plastic set, but that's still a damn good deal. Thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, may the force be with you.